Hello friends, hello and welcome to EDG Guru channel. In this video, we will see C programming environment and we will also see writing a simple C program. So let's get started.
Subscribe to EDG Guru channel and hit the bell icon to get notified for more videos and updates in this channel.
C programming environment. In order to run the C programs, we will need two things, IDE and the C compiler. In order to run the C program, we will need IDE. First one, we will need IDE. IDE stands for the Integrated Development Environment. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Integrated Development Environment is one where we could write our code. It is the environment provided where we could write our code. Is one where we could write code. IDE is Integrated Development Environment where we could write our code. And second thing we will need is C compiler. Second thing we will need is C compiler. So why we need the compiler? Why we need compiling the programs? So compilers basically does what it does is like the program first we write inside the IDE. Program we write inside the IDE, which is in English form, which is in English language, right? But computer don't understand that English language. So in order to so here the compilers comes into the pictures. Here compilers comes into the pictures. What it does is that it converts the code written on IDE into the form machine readable form, machine understandable form. It converts the English language into machine language. It converts the code into machine language, or it converts the code into binary language. Which computer can understand. Then computer can execute those instructions written on that particular programs and produces an output, respective output. So in order for any C program, we will need two things, that is the IDE is one where we write our code, and second thing we need compilers which compiles our programs, which converts the program written in English language to a machine language, convert it into the binary language which computer can understand and execute this set of instructions and produces an respective output. Structures means we will see the basic components, what exactly we will need inside the C programs with an example of program, right? So this is basically the C program structure. It illustrates the C program structure. These are the basic components which we will need inside the C programs, right? So first one is preprocessor directives or preprocessor command. So what is the preprocessor command? The command which start with hash. The command which start with hash is called as a preprocessor command or preprocessor directives. So this line start with hash means this is a preprocessor commands. Here we include the standard libraries hash include stdio.h. stdio stands for standard input output. .h means header files. This first line of statement implies that we need to include these standard input output libraries into our program. So the question arises, why we need to include these standard libraries? We need to include these standard libraries into our program because it contains the definitions of set of instructions which we will use inside our program. For example, here in this example, I have used an printf statement or printf statement, right? So the definition of this printf statement, printf, is present inside the standard library file. Until and unless we will not include this into our program, it will not understand this, it will not recognize this printf command, right? Since the printf command's definition is present inside the standard library file. So we must include this standard library file into our program, otherwise it will throw an error. So this is the first line of statement, which first we need to include the standard libraries into our program. First we need to include the standard libraries. Second is functions. Functions means main function. Second is main function. We need to include this main function, which has a return type of integer, int. So second we will need to include the main functions having a return type of int. Followed by an opening brace. Followed by an opening brace. This opening brace is one from where the scope of main statement starts. It is the opening brace of main from where the scope of main will start, and where the closing brace of main is there and the scope of main will end. So these two curly brackets will implies that the scope of main function, right? The next is variables. Here we could declare the variable. I will show this in a next example, because here I have not declared any variable in this particular example, since this is simply print the message which has been written in printf statements. Welcome to EDG Guru, which is written inside this double quote of printf statement, and simply it will print this message over here. So variable I have not declared here. I will show this in another example. The next is statements and expressions. This is the statements and expression. These are nothing but the statements and expression we could specify over here in this particular block. Terminate. Every statement should terminate with semicolon. Here also you could see this is the statements. It is terminated with semicolon. Then here we could specify the comments. In every statements or expressions which we used inside our program, we could always specify the comment in order for a user to understand it very easily. What particular that statement does, that user will understand it very easily, and that's why we could specify that comment over there. And how to specify the comment in C language? It is simply, I will show this is also in next example, right? The next is the return 0. Next is return 0. In C language, before closing brace before closing brace of main functions, we need to specify this return 0. We need to specify explicitly, we need to specify this return 0. It implies that it tells to the operating system, the state operating system regarding the status of the program. It tells the operating system regarding the status of the program, whether the program is successfully executed or is there any error or program executed with an error. So this tells basically to operating system regarding the status of program execution status. It tells to the operating system. Whereas in case of C++, we did not require to explicitly specify this return 0, because even if we will not add this return 0, compiler will automatically add it for you. So no need to write this return 0 explicitly over there in C++. But in case of C language, we need to specify this return 0 terminate with semicolon before closing brace of main functions. So in this way, the C program structure contains these components. I will just show you another example. Okay, this is another example. This hash stands for preprocessor directives. Any statements start with hash is called as preprocessor directives, and these are nothing but the standard libraries we include into our program. Then next is the main functions. This is int main function. Main functions of return type of integer, followed by opening brace, specifies the scope of main function. Means main function scopes will start from here. Then next is, this is the comment. This is your comment. You could write the comment in this way. My first program in C. This is just to understand for user what this program means for. This is nothing but a comment. You could specify this comment inside this /star. From here it will start and here it will closed. Then next is the variable declarations. Here I have declared these variables. Int number 1 is equals to 500. Number 1 is of type integer having a value 500 is declared over here. This is the variable declaration part. Right. Next is statements and expressions. Here this is the statements and expressions. Printf, the value of number 1 is %d double quote close comma number 1. Number 1. Here I have declared the value of number 1 and I have passed this number 1 over here inside the printf. So and next finally I have written return 0. It will tell operating system regarding the status of program, regarding the tells the operating system regarding status of program, whether it is successfully executed or it is executed with an error. And finally this is closing brace, means the scope of main function will end over here. So the output of this program is whatever here inside the printf statement, value of number 1 is same as it has printed over here, the colon, and since I have passed this number 1 over here, this number 1, and I have declared the value of number 1 as in 500, So it will print here 500. Right? This is what about a C program structure or C program's component. Basically, the C program is composed of this particular components, right? Thank you for watching.